You sometimes struggle with solving escape rooms? After this video, that's going to be over. Hello and welcome, my name is David and this is Life Escape Guide. There's nothing more frustrating but to not solve an escape room. You paid the whole price and you want the whole experience. Also, it makes you feel a little dumb sometimes. Believe me, I know that feeling. Me myself, I played over 50 escape rooms to this point, and at the beginning I wasn't always able to finish in under 60 minutes. But over the years I found out many techniques that help you finish most of the escape rooms you play. I structured them into a list of 10 helpful tips that will hopefully help you solve your next escape room. So let's start with number 1. Organize your room. When you first enter the escape room, you find objects that seem helpful everywhere. And there are two things you shouldn't do with these objects. You shouldn't leave them where they are, and you shouldn't carry them around. You don't want single members of your team walking around with objects without anyone else knowing it. The best way to organize all the objects is to define one place where you collect them. In most escape rooms you find something like a table. And you define this table as the item table at the beginning, and everyone puts their stuff there. Also group things that look like they belong together. Also, most escape room companies have the rule that all objects, codes and keys you find only belong to one riddle. That means that after you solved the riddle, you can put them on a kind of used object pile. That way, all the members of your group know that all the objects on the used object pile aren't to be used again. And that saves a lot of time. So don't forget this important rule. If a key already opened a lock, don't try the same key on every other lock in the room. Put it on the discard pile and don't think about it anymore. Tip number 2. Communicate. Let everyone in your team know what you found and what you're looking for. For example, if you find a code written on a wall somewhere, tell your group. Maybe someone else is looking for that code right now. And if you are looking for something, also tell your group. Maybe someone else has found it. That also means that you have to listen to what everyone else says. And that sometimes can be a little bit overwhelming. So it might help to define one person in the group that listens to what the other people are saying and keeps track of it. That person then can bring people together, like the one that found the code and the one that is looking for it. Number 3. Spread out. It happens so often that one person is working on an interesting puzzle and all the other team members are looking over their shoulder to see what's happening. That obviously wastes time, so be always sure to have only 1 or 2 people work on the same thing at the same time and therefore create progress at different areas at the same time. Number 4. Define your goals. In an escape room there's a lot of information and much of it is useless. Many things you find are just part of the decoration or intentional misdirection. To avoid spending too much time on things that don't help you, be sure to always define your goals clearly. For example, if you have a closed drawer in the room, you're probably looking for a key. If you have a keypad in the room, you're probably looking for a code. If you have a 3-digit number lock, you're looking for 3 digits. Focusing on these specific things spares you a lot of time. Number 5. Don't underestimate the searching. When entering the room, everyone will start looking for things that are useful. And that makes sense. That's a phenomenon that I've seen many times, that after the searching in the beginning, people later on only try to solve puzzles with the things they already found. Many times when you're stuck at a puzzle, it's not because you're not clever enough to solve it, it's oftentimes because you're missing an important element that nobody's searching for anymore. So always have some people of your group looking for new objects to find. And if they are not successful anymore in finding new objects, then probably change out the roles, that the people that were puzzling before now search and the people that were searching before now puzzle, so that people can tackle their problems with fresh minds. Number 6. Be naive. You'll always find situations in escape rooms where you think, well, I could try that, but it probably won't help me. Forget this mindset. If you have the impulse to do something, do it and see what happens. Today's escape room companies often build mechanisms that are way more complex than you would expect. For example, if you find a throne in a room and you're tempted to sit on it, go ahead and do so. Maybe there is a scale under the chair and something opens once you sit on it. Number 7. Don't overthink. There's always this one person in the team that wants to be too clever. Okay, we're looking for a 4-number combination and we only have 2 numbers. But if we multiply them together and write them in a list and take every second number we find, Maybe that's the code. And then this person is gone for the next 30 minutes with a piece of paper and writing down complicated calculations. That is never the solution. Solutions in escape rooms are obvious in some way. Also, you don't need any background knowledge. For example, if you find a date and a country, you don't have to know who the chancellor at that year in that country was. If your riddle isn't solvable in some obvious logical way, then you're most likely missing an element and have to go searching again. Number 8. This tip fits in the theme of the tip from before. You are very likely to find books in your room. Don't read them. For sure, open the books. Maybe there's a loose object in them or a hidden compartment. Or if you have to read a book, then there's a clear marked page that you have to read. But you never ever have to read a whole book, so don't waste your time doing that. Number 9. Double check locks. Locks are a tactile object, and sometimes when using them, it can go wrong. It often happens that you have the right code, someone of the team tries to enter the code into a number lock and does it wrong. That can be due to them being nervous or the lock being jammed or any other reason. Whatever the reason is, it happens a lot. So if a code doesn't work, be always sure to have another member of the team try the code as well to be sure that it's not a user error and the code is actually wrong. Otherwise, you're wasting so much time in looking for a code that you already have solved. Number 10, turn off the light. This tip will not always work, because not every company in every room is using the element. But many rooms use black light or hidden LEDs that only get visible once the light of the room is off. And to turn off the light at least once can save you a lot of time inside the escape room. So those are my 10 tips for solving an escape room. And I hope they will help some of you to solve their next room. If there are any tips you want to add, you can write them down in the comments down below. If you liked the video, then you can consider subscribing to my channel. And if you want to miss none of my videos, you can press the bell icon down below. And if you want to watch another video now, you can click on one of the videos on my right. See you next week.